Hey strangers. I have a lot of news. It's been a big week. And basically, the highlight of it is that I just got approved for top surgery, and I'm so fucking excited about it that I don't think that I could express my excitement about it all at once or I would explode. So I'm just gonna calm down and talk about things rationally like a human being. Okay, I'm just gonna give like the summary of what happened because the whole purpose of me making these videos is kind of to document the process of going through the CAMH and getting the approval through so that you get surgeries that you don't have to pay for with your own money. Um, so, um, if you've watched my previous videos and you know like where I'm at or where I was at with the assessment process so far, this week I think on Tuesday or Wednesday I got a call from CAMH saying that there had been a cancellation and that they were going to invite me in for my next appointment on Friday, which is today, for my actual like surgery readiness appointment. So basically, I did the meetings with the two, with the psychologist and the psychiatrist, and then they called my doctor to verify my mental health information and my physical health information and all that, and I had to sign a consent. And then after they talked to my doctor about it, they told me on the phone that they thought that they hadn't had the meeting yet, but they thought that when they did have the meeting, they'd probably just be going through with the approval process. And then I got a phone call this week saying that I was just coming in for the surgery readiness appointment. So the surgery readiness appointment is an appointment that I had to have with a psychiatrist. And it is, I'm pretty sure he's a psychiatrist anyway. And basically, it's just about explaining the surgery to you, explaining your options with surgery, like how that's going to work, where you're going to go, and making sure that you understand what is happening, and also making sure that you have a plan and have a support network, so that like within your life you physically can get surgery, like making sure that you have someone who's going to drive you and take care of you and do the and do the things and deal with your gross tubies things and they're going to be coming out of your armpits. And so just making sure that everything in your life is in place to kind of handle the surgery. And so I'm in a great place with that because my parents are dealing with the whole thing. They're going to drive me to Montreal and they're going to let me stay at their beautiful house while I'm recovering, and that's all fine and dandy. And so that's basically like the whole process went very smoothly because like my appointments before went really well, and I just presented super masculinely, super confident, super friendly and neurotypical, and I just knuckled down on that for the appointments. So everything went super smoothly actually, and I am now approved for top surgery, and they're issuing me a referral. I thought that I was gonna get a letter because then I could like hold it up and be like, this is my fucking approval letter, but I didn't actually get a letter, so I have nothing to show you. It is an intangible concept, but it's happening. And so yeah, basically what is happening now is exciting fucking news. Okay, so previously, if you live in Canada, you're probably aware that Dr. Brassard in Montreal is the only clinic in Canada that does any form of sex reassignment, gender confirmation, gender affirmation surgery, anything like that. Any trans-related surgeries, Dr. Brassard is the only person in Canada who does it. Until now. Because I asked, there's a guy in Mississauga named Dr. McLean, and he has a clinic that does top surgery. There's a lot of noise happening right now, so I hope that you can still hear me. There's a guy in Mississauga that does top surgery, and I was asking them during my previous appointments whether he was covered, and they said no, that they've been bugging him for a long time, that he didn't want to work with OHIP, all that stuff. So I was told that I would definitely have to go to Montreal, and I did not want to go to Montreal because it was a long ways away from me, and the car ride back would be horrible, and both of my parents would have to take time off work, and it would just be a mess. So I wasn't happy about having to go to Montreal, but in this appointment, they told me that in the last, 2 weeks, since between my last appointment and now, Dr. McLean is now working with OHIP. So the guy in Mississauga is now working with OHIP, and Mississauga is fucking 20 minutes away from me, so I don't have to drive across the fucking country. And so the guy in Mississauga is now working with OHIP. Basically, how it works though is that, like, OHIP only covers a certain amount of money. And so basically, you go in for an assessment with Dr. McLean, and the assessment is covered by OHIP. And then basically, he will tell you based on what your chest is looking like and the type of surgery that you want to have, if there's going to be more money that you have to pay on top of what OHIP will cover. So I might have to pay, like if I do wind up going with him, like I'm hoping that, I think my chest is probably going to be pretty simple. I'm not sure, but I think that like I don't have any like weird issues to do with my chest. Like I think it's going to be a pretty simple surgery, so like fingers crossed I won't have to pay anything extra, but there's a chance that I will have to pay extra on top of what OHIP will cover. Now the issue that comes up with that is that I'm broke as fuck, and so if it comes down to me having to pay extra money to go to him, I might not be able to do that, and I might have to go to Montreal anyway, which would suck because I know that Dr. McLean has really good results, and I've specifically seen like before and after pictures of people whose chests look exactly like mine, so I know that he does a good job with keyhole, which is exactly what I want. And yeah, I really, really, really prefer to go to him. And plus, he already looked at my chest. Like I did a consultation with him a while ago, and he already looked at my chest and said that he could do keyhole for me. And I don't know if Dr. Broussard would. I haven't seen any keyhole results with Dr. Broussard, so that makes me a bit nervous. That I really don't want to go to him. I just don't like his results. He's really far away. It's just that. And so I really prefer to go to Dr. McLean. But the thing is that if my parents don't have to drive to Montreal, then that means that both of them don't have to go. Only my mom would go because my family doesn't live that far from Mississauga. I'm giving you guys like, too much personal information about me. But anyway, yeah, so my family only lives like a few hours away, and so my mom would just come down and my dad wouldn't have to take the time off work. So it's possible that if I do it in Mississauga, that my parents would save enough money in the process that they could afford to pay like the little bit of extra, because my parents right now are basically like putting themselves in debt to help pay for my top surgery, or like not pay for the top surgery, but like the travel costs and the aftercare and the hotel, staying in Montreal and stuff like that, that they can't really afford to do. I'm thinking that there's a chance I might set up like a donation thing to kind of help me out with this, because I am like worried about the money, but I'm gonna see how that goes after I have the consultation with him to see if it's gonna like cost me any extra. But yeah, there's a chance that my parents would save enough money by not going to Montreal that they could afford to help me a little bit with the extra surgery money, if I want to do it in Mississauga. And plus my mom is very insistent that I get it done well, because she's like, you're going to be living with this body for your whole life. Like, you got to go to the good person and do it so that it looks nice, and not to the horrible person that'll make you look like a Frankenstein monster. Not that Dr. McLean will necessarily make me look like a Frankenstein monster, but I've seen a lot of botched keyhole results, and I don't want to have that. And like nipple retention is really important to me. So yeah, I'm hoping that I can go to Dr. McLean. So that's where I'm at with the top surgery. Other news that is awesome is that I found out, like, I've talked in videos before that I do want to get bottom surgery. Specifically, I want to get what the fuck am I talking about? I want to get prematoidioplasty, or clitoral release procedure, which is basically like the first half of matoidioplasty, where you just kind of like cut the ligaments that hold the penis or clitoris or whatever you want to call it back, and then like turn it into the shape of a penis, but you don't do the urethral extension, so you don't have to have a vagectomy. So you can have essentially a penis and a vagina at the same time, which is what I want. Because I'm not dysphoric about having a vagina, I'm just dysphoric about not having a penis. And also that my penis doesn't look like what I want it to look like anyway. But yeah, and it's a really simple procedure. It's actually like very like non-invasive. Like I've heard it can even be done under like local anesthetic. So like it's a very like simple surgery. It's like the vasectomy of bottom surgery. And I thought that it wouldn't be covered under CAMH though, or under OHIP, because someone told me that like if it's not like if it doesn't involve a vasectomy, then they won't cover it, or something like that. But the thing for me is that I want to have kids eventually, so like if I can, I don't even know if I'm fertile, to be honest. I mean, like with the whole intersex thing, there's a high probability that I'm not, but I can't afford to get tested for that. So until I find out, I want to keep my fertility options open. And so I don't want to do any sort of bottom surgery that would make it so that I can't have kids, for sure. And so, yeah, I really want to get the prematodeoplasty. I would like it if I could get the urethral extension through either, like, ring metodeoplasty or, like, the oral one. Because, like, basically, they can do a urethral extension where they take tissue from the inside of your mouth instead of taking it from your vaginal canal. Or they can take, like, a small ring of material from your vaginal canal and not actually do a vasectomy. They just like take like donor tissue from there. So if I could get either one of those things, but that's a more complicated procedure, and so I don't know if they would do it in Montreal. I know a lot of people have to fly to like fucking Belgium to do it, or like certain places in the States, and I can't afford to do that. So yeah, but yeah, so I'm really excited though, because I was talking to the psychiatrist and he said that they actually do cover prematodeoplasty, and that all I would need is basically like evidence of like a year's lived experience or something like that. So basically saying that like I am like tangibly living in my identified gender, which I obviously am because I changed my name and I'm out to everyone and blah 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 blah. And I have like bank records and school transcripts and records of employment and stuff like that. So I have all the documentation I would need to do that. But he says that yeah, it actually is covered and I actually can get it through CAMH. And so he's made an appointment for me for 6 months from now to talk about getting bottom surgery. So how fucking cool is that? Like, holy shit, I did not think that bottom surgery was like in the cards for me within the next like few years. But I can fucking get bottom surgery through CAMH and the exact bottom surgery that I want, and like, holy shit, it's just so exciting. And so I'm gonna get top surgery. Likely within 6 months, so sometime between August and November is like the time frame that I was given for like the average wait lists for Dr. Broussard and Dr. McLean. I'm waiting to hear back from Dr. McLean's clinic on Tuesday because the person that does their intake thing is away or something like that. So I left a message with them and I'm waiting to hear back from them on Tuesday when the person gets back in the office. So I will book my consultation with them and find out about the pricing and find out which clinic I'm actually going to, and then hopefully book some sort of appointment time, and then I will update you when that stuff happens. But according to the person that I spoke to, I should be waiting between 3 and 6 months. So, I mean, like, hopefully closer to the 3 side, but I met a person who had just gotten through the CAMH process, and they said that their top surgery was scheduled for October. So it might be closer to the 6 month side, but we will see. And I will keep you in the loop and updated as this process continues to roll. So yeah, I hope you are all having a splendid day. I'm having a splendid day. I just picked up a 6-pack of beer and I'm having some friends over in a few hours so that we can fucking party because this is a celebration. So yeah, everything is great. I hope things are great with you, and I will talk to you next time. Peace out.